And we are live from the Diamondplex in Winter Haven, Florida, with CSI Sportsnet coverage of the 2024 Spring Games. In Game 7 for the College of Staten Island, the Dolphins will take on West Virginia Wesleyan College. The Dolphins coming in off of a split in yesterday's doubleheader. Two thrilling games, one yet another heartbreaking loss for the College of Staten Island. The second, an exhilarating win that came to an end on a play at the plate. In their first game yesterday, the Dolphins ended up losing due in large part to a pair of home run robberies where the center fielder jumped over the wall, came crashing down on the other side, and held on to a pair of would-be Dolphin home runs. Those were off the bat of Cassidy Latour. One of those home runs would have been a walk-off two-run shot in the home half of the seventh inning. As for their second game of the day, following a 3-2 loss in Game 1, the College of Staten Island bounced back to win their second game by a final score of 3-2 against Southwest Minnesota State University. The Dolphins faced a really tough spot in the final inning as Kennedy Ruth came on out of the Dolphins bullpen in relief in the fourth. She was still in the circle in the seventh when the bases were loaded with just one out. A tailing line drive toward the right field corner was caught on the move by Avery Mockery. Mockery came up throwing, and she cut down the tying run at the plate as the Dolphins effectively walked it off on the defensive side, picking up the win by a final score of 3-2. Every game of the first six on this trip has been a thriller. The Dolphins have either been tied or led in every game on this trip thus far. CSI, of course, led in both games yesterday. Game 1 saw the Dolphins get ahead 2-0 and 3-1, but the Mustangs ultimately came back and nearly were able to tie the score in the seventh. In the early game, the Dolphins led 2-0 against the University of Minnesota Crookston, and the Golden Eagles ultimately overtook CSI by a final score of 3-2. That game, as I mentioned, had a pair of incredible home run robberies. We hate that we missed it here on Sportsnet, but we had the opponents covering the games yesterday, so my crew and I got an off day in the middle of the week. We are here traveling on our own, not with the team, but as always, we take every opportunity we can to take in some CSI Dolphins softball, and we're about set to get underway in this one as the Dolphins take on the Bobcats of West Virginia Wesleyan College. We'll have the starting lineups in just a moment once those populate on our play-by-play, but it will be Madison Edwards in the circle for the Dolphins. For Edwards, this is her first start on this trip. Trying to figure it out in my head really quickly. I believe this is starter number 6 the Dolphins have used on this trip. Frenza, Ruth, Edwards, DeMartini, Meller. So it might be 5. So I could be mistaken. Either 5 or 6. Nonetheless, first pitch of the game was in, and that's tapped softly. A swinging bunt toward third base. No chance for the Dolphins, and the Bobcats have the leadoff batter on. On to lead off the game for Wesleyan was Brooklyn Osborne. Leadoff base runner gets things off to a good start for them. And in this case, on Stat Crew, full names not populating our live stats, so I'll be referring back and forth to the Bobcats website and to the box score, as Alyssa Rohr will be the second batter for Wesleyan. She fouled off the first pitch that she saw and is behind in the count 0-1. Infield in on the right side for the Dolphins. Balderas at normal depth at short. Moore in at third. Here comes the 0-1. Runner going, and that is slapped into left field for a base hit. And the Bobcats have the first 2 runners on here in the top half of the first inning. Andy Dizon will be the third place hitter for the Bobcats, batting with 2 on and nobody out. As it looks like there is some early stirring in the Dolphins' bullpen. See if anything comes of that as Edwards gets set to deliver the first pitch. And that's chopped to third, foul, and out of play down the left field line. This is the first we've seen of Edwards here on Sportsnet during this trip. In the circle anyway. She did get a start out in the field. Came on as a replacement late in one of the games as well. think this is easily the hottest day so far, as that's hit well out to center and deep, and that lands at the base of the fence. 1 run will score. A second run is being waved in, and 2 will score. It's a 2 RBI double for Andy Dizon, and the Bobcats take an early 2-0 lead. Dolphins, no strangers to early deficits on this trip. They trailed in one game 3-0. In another game, they trailed 6-0. And they came back every time. And they'll have their work cut out for them here today once again, as they're behind 2 with still nobody out in the road first inning. And first pitch misses low to Kendall Stoffel. Stoffel, the cleanup hitter for Wesleyan. Batting here with a runner in scoring position, still nobody out. And there is indeed action in the Dolphins bullpen. Alexis Miramontes has begun tossing, as that pitch misses off the inside corner. It's now a 2-0 count on the Bobcats starting pitcher. Starting pitcher and cleanup hitter. Not bad. As that's in at the knees for a strike. Count now 2-1. Have to shuffle to the right a bit to escape the sunlight. As I mentioned, the hottest day so far here in Florida. The Dolphins, this is day 4 of a 5-day trip, 10 games in 5 days. Edwards now behind, 3-1 on the Bobcats cleanup hitter Stoffel. 3-1 coming, and that's hit sharply through the middle for another Bobcats hit. Another run will come in to score, and Wesleyan now leads at 3-0. Not only have the Bobcats had 4 base runners in the first 4 batters, but they've hit the ball hard as well. Perhaps with the exception of that swinging bunt for a hit, but nonetheless. 4 batters up, 4 batters on, 3 runs home, and they now lead at 3-0. Bunt back toward the circle, fielded by Edwards, throw to first in time. And the Dolphins have the first out. With the sacrifice was Carly Iannone. Coming to the plate now will be Molly White. White, the designated player, and she is immediately hit by the pitch. Runners now on first and second with 1 out. Double play. Back in order now. Dolphins would love to get one here, but not going to be easy against a left-handed batter. At the plate is Jenna Gomez looking to bunt, and she sends it foul. Edwards quickly gets ahead 0-1. And if she can get through this inning, limiting the damage to just 3, perhaps she can prolong this start, but you have to think with another base hit, the leash gets tighter, and perhaps that would be all. That's chopped toward the middle and through the vacated middle of the infield as the Dolphins were in all around. Throw from the outfield, cut off by Acosta, but she decided to throw it to third, and that allowed Gomez to take second. Perhaps a mistake there by Acosta, as they didn't have a play over at third, but you need outs any way you can get them. And she took the chance as the runner does advance from first. It's an RBI single for Gomez. And it is now 4-0 Bobcats, still 1 out in the inning. And the first pitch is in for a called strike to Maya Reyes. Reyes, a senior, getting the start at third base today. Here comes the 0-1. And she was off balance on that swing. Good off-speed pitch from Edwards. Edwards looking for a big third strike here. Dolphins trailing by 4. That's cut on and sent foul. Count remains 0-2. Edwards back on the rubber. Here comes another 2-strike pitch. And that bounces in for ball 1. Count 1-2 on the Bobcats' third baseman. They're dug out very much into it early, as that misses for ball 2. Count even at 2 now. Runners on second and third, just 1 out. Edwards comes set, and the 2-2 is on its way. And that's hit sharply off the glove of Elizabeth Moore at third, and that is a fair ball down the line and left. The throw comes into short, and 2 runs come in to score, as Wesleyan has jumped out to a 6-run first-inning lead. That is another 2 RBI base hit. This time it's Maya Reyes chasing home a pair. Second time on this trip, Dolphins have faced a big deficit in the first inning. There are now 2 arms throwing back behind the left field wall in the Dolphins bullpen, as that pitch was sliced foul. Hallie Dinklocker, the batter. Left-handed hitter. Once again, the Dolphins have the corners in. And that's chopped toward the middle, and it's booted at second. And the error will cost the Dolphins an out on a routine grounder to the right side. Getting the start over at second base today is Amanda Stalker. Stalker got a start earlier in the trip as well. Couldn't make that play there. And there are now runners on the corners. Still just 1 away in the inning, as that swung on and missed. And now the Dolphins will have to contend with the stolen base possibility. But the way the Bobcats have swung the bats, I'm not sure they need a stolen base. It's back to the top of the order. Wesleyan is now batted around. Brooklyn Osborne slaps him to the left side slowly. Moore's throw to first is high. A run comes home on that throw. Everyone is safe, and it's now 7-0. Dolphins, earlier in the week, surrendered 6 runs on 9 hits in a first inning. They have now surrendered 7 in this first inning. Throw was just a bit high there, but that's probably hit number 7. That ball hit just slowly enough to make it tough on Liz Moore over at third. And the run came home from third, once more elected to take her chances over at first. Pause in the action here, as time was called from behind home plate. Alyssa Rohr is the batter as we are set to resume action. First pitch from Edwards. Low for ball 1. Something else to be mindful of. This is the first of 2 games for the Dolphins today. So they have to be very cognizant of how they manage their pitching. That goes without saying as Moore makes a nice stop over at third. The throw a bit offline, but Acosta applies the tag, and Rohr is out. 2 away in the inning now. That will bring up Andy Dizon. She's 1 for 1 at the plate. Base hit here could make this a 9-run game. Pitch from Edwards. In for a strike. Here comes the 0-1. And that's hit well out to deep left field toward the wall, and that is gone. Caffel chasing after it, gave it a look, but ran out of space at the left center field wall, and it's a 3-run homer off the bat of Dizon as this game is now broken wide open. It's 10-0 Bobcats, and that will be all for Madison Edwards. We'll see who it is coming out of the Dolphins bullpen. Miramontes was throwing. I know Meller was throwing pregame, and it looks like it is Meller coming out of the Dolphins dugout. And it is indeed Meller who will be the new pitcher for Staten Island. So we'll step aside and take a quick break as she warms up. 10-0 Bobcats. Top half of the first, 2 out, and the base is empty. And we're back here on CSI Sportsnet, still in the top half of the first inning. West Virginia Wesleyan leading Staten Island 10-0. 8 hits in the inning, helped along by just one Dolphins error. And a 3-run homer just moments ago broke this game wide open. As it's a 10 spot, the big blow, the Andy Dizon 3-run shot over the left center field wall. That chased Madison Edwards. And Brooklyn Meller enters the game for CSI out of the bullpen. Dolphins have not been shy about using several pitchers per game. And they're going to have to do that in all likelihood once again here in this one. As I mentioned before, keep in mind the Dolphins do play again right after this. Lynn University among the spectators watching this game. That is CSI's 4:30 p.m. opponent. At the plate here for her second at-bat is Kendall Stoffel. Stoffel 1 for 1 and will take the circle in the next half inning. As that pitch skips in. And the count runs full, 3-2. Though I think there may have been a correction behind home plate. They may have said 2-2. We're seated along the first base line today, our third different location in as many days covering, as that's chopped through the middle for another Bobcats base hit. Stoffel is now 2 for 2. And yet again, Wesleyan has a 2-out base runner. Coming to the plate here will be the Bobcats catcher, Carly Iannone. Her second plate appearance, still without an official at-bat. Laid down to sacrifice her last time up. She bats here with 2 outs and a runner on first. Pitch from Meller on its way. And that's in at the knees for a strike. Meller quickly ahead 0-2. Meller hoping to stop the bleeding and give the Dolphins some much-needed innings in relief. 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. And that's popped up straight to Balderas short, who makes the catch. And the side is retired. But not before the Bobcats score 10 times on non-base hits. The big blow, the 3-run homer by Dizon. They lead Staten Island 10-0. Dolphins come to bat for the first time after this. And we are back from the Diamond Plex in Winter Haven. Dolphins trailing 10-0 before their first turn at bat. And I'll get you the CSI starting lineup. From 1 through 9 in the Dolphins batting order: Balderas, Anissa Acosta, Wanzer, Latour, Whalen, Moore, Stalker, Caffel, Carcano. As Eileen Balderas takes a strike. Balderas homered twice yesterday, once in each game. She has been by far the Dolphins' hottest hitter on this trip. And she's quickly in a 2-strike hole. Here comes the 0-2. And Balderas chased downstairs for strike 3. I think we're likely to learn a lot about this Dolphins team. First game of the day, but the fourth game, or I should say the fourth day in a 5-day trip, game 7. But they're down big early. What will the at-bats look like the rest of this game? And if the answer to that is not good, could that possibly carry over into game 2? CSI certainly hopes not, as Anissa Acosta is behind 0-1, and she swings and misses for strike 2. Stoffel, through 5 pitches, appears to have her swing and miss stuff in this game. As that sails outside. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes on Acosta. Picked up career hit number 100 earlier in the week, and she hits one on a line straight into the glove of the shortstop, O'Shields. O'Shields, the flex player, starting at short, and there are quickly 2 gone in the home first. That will bring up Olivia Wanzer. Wanzer has homered on this trip. Acosta has homered on this trip, and Balderas has homered on this trip. Top 3 hitters in the Dolphins order. Dolphins displaying as much power at the top of the order as we've seen in quite some time. 3 hitters who any given at bat are capable of going deep. Following a swing and miss, Wanzer has a count of 1 ball and 1 strike, and she takes outside. Stoffel working quickly in the circle. And the 2-1 is swung on and missed. A lot of swings and misses early here for the top of the Dolphins lineup. And Wanzer got a piece and fouls that one back. If Wanzer can keep the inning going, Cassidy Latour would be next. That's chopped foul again. Good fight here from Wanzer to stay alive. Base is empty with 2 outs in the home first. And Wanzer just got a piece. That may have hit the dirt before she contacted it, as Wanzer is ruled safe at first. Close play, as that was tapped very slowly to third. Good effort there by Reyes, who came up throwing, and a stretch over at first by Dizon. Not enough in that spot. As Wanzer will reach on the error. Runner on first, 2 gone, and Cassidy Latour looks at a strike. That's chopped foul. Latour quickly behind 0-2. Comes the 0-2. And that's looked at for a called strike 3. The Dolphins strand 1 in the home first inning. They do not score and trail 10-0 heading to the second. And we're back for the top half of the second inning. Wesleyan over Staten Island, 10-0. Molly White will be the batter, and she chops one to third. Moore has it, and her throw to first is in time for a quick out, number 1. That will bring up Jenna Gomez. Gomez 1 for 1 at the plate in this game. Comes up here with the bases empty. Pitch from Meller. Up high for ball 1. And the 1-0 is chopped back to Meller. She plays it on the backhand and throws out Gomez for out number 2. 2 quick outs here in the second. And it will be left to Maya Reyes. Reyes 1 for 1 at the plate. And takes a ball. Comes the 1-0. There's a swing and a miss. That pitch down and out of the zone. Count even at 1. Meller delivers. That's chopped foul. Count now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Meller 1 strike away from a 1-2-3 inning. That's way upstairs. Count now even at 2 on the Bobcats' third baseman. Pitch on its way. And that misses inside. Count now full 3-2. Comes the payoff pitch. And that misses up and in for ball 4. Good at bat by Reyes to work from behind in the count and draw the walk. And that will bring up the right fielder, Hallie Dinklacher. Dinklacher 0 for 1. And she looks at a pitch up and away. Left-handed batter once again forcing Moore to play in at third. Acosta about halfway at first. And that's slapped into shallow left and down for a hit. It gets by Caffel, and both runners will take an extra base. Dolphins had Caffel positioned well. She was playing in, but the short hop got over her glove. And from bases empty and 2 outs, the Bobcats work it to 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. And once again, it's back to the top of the lineup. At the plate, Brooklyn Osborne with 2 in scoring position. Chance to extend a 10-run lead here as that misses up and away. It's been a combination of well-struck base hits and some well-placed base hits for the Bobcats through the first 2 innings in this game. Dolphins have had no answers as Wesleyan has put the ball in play just about every at-bat. And there's a good pitch from Meller to get a swing and miss. You can see what the Dolphins see in this freshman with pitches like that. Has the ability to get hitters off balance and generate swings and misses. And she does so again there. Osborne's timing a bit off on a couple of off-speed pitches. We'll see if Meller goes to the well a third time, or if she comes in with the hard stuff. It's 1-2. The pitch on its way. And there's another swing and miss for strike 3. Meller strands 2 in scoring position, and the deficit remains 10 as we break ahead of the home second inning. And we're back for the home second inning. Live from Winter Haven, Florida. This is Joe Foreman for CSI Sportsnet. Play-by-play audio coverage for the rest of the week, perhaps with the exception of Game 2 today. It turns out that the Dolphins will be playing on the same field in their next game. That really helps us out. We don't have to uproot our setup and move. So that definitely lends toward the possibility of a Game 2 stream. Also, how long this game goes will play a role in that decision as well. At the plate for CSI is Victoria Whalen. Whalen, East Coast Conference Player of the Week, announced on Monday. She's ahead in the count here, 2-1. And Whalen takes ball 3. Dolphins need base runners any way they can get them. Whalen looking to get on to lead off the inning. And she fouls that pitch away. Count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Whalen. Elizabeth Moore stands on deck. And Whalen takes ball 4. So Whalen is on to the leadoff walk. Dolphins have their second base runner of the game. First reached on an error. And Moore will step into the box with nobody out and a runner on. Quick conversation in the circle for the Bobcats infield. Corners do come in here against Moore. And she swings and misses for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's popped up on the infield. And the catch is made by Dazan at first. 1 away. Runner on first. 1 out now in the home second inning. And the first pitch to Amanda Stalker misses inside for ball 1. Dolphins have shuffled the lineup around quite a bit this week as Stalker swings and misses. I think she just got a piece of that. Nonetheless, it's 0-2. And Stalker takes outside. But Moore, ahead of Stalker in the lineup today, has been in and out of the lineup at third. Stalker's gotten in a couple of games now with this start here today, as that's tapped right back to the circle. Stoffel goes to second for 1, and they get the out at first. 1-6-3 on the double play. And that will do it for the home second. Dolphins get a leadoff base runner, make nothing of it. And we head to the third, CSI trailing 10-0. And we are back for the third inning from the Diamondplex in Winter Haven, as the Dolphins have made another pitching change after the last inning came to a close on a 1-4-3 double play. CSI will send Ava Del Salto into the circle. It's her second outing of this trip. Now, did the umpire just say 0-1 on the batter?
1-1, 2-0 now.
Oh, 1-0 on the batter.
Because of,
Well, there was a violation of some kind against the Dolphins that resulted in a ball. Nonetheless, on a 2-0 pitch, Roar swings and lines one into right center for a base hit. Alyssa Roar now 2 for 3. And that will bring up Andy Dizon. Dizon with a 3-run homer her last time up. Or I should say, that maybe even been 2 at-bats ago. This is her 4th at-bat, so it was her 2nd at-bat that she homered in. Top of the 3rd, already a 4th plate appearance for the number 3 hitter. That's how you know things have gone really well offensively in the game. Bobcats with a 10-run lead, chance for more here in the 3rd. That's popped up. Shallow right. And Stalker makes the over-the-shoulder grab. 1 away. That will bring up the pitcher, Kendall Stoffel. She's 2 for 2 at the plate. And has had a nice start to this game in the circle as well. And that gets by Latour. Runner will take second, and Roar is now in scoring position. Count 1-0. Pitch on its way. And that's line foul. Awfully close down the left field line, but that's the right call. During all of our previous broadcasts, we had been seated among the Fanatics. Today, we're on the other side. Get a chance to call the game from among fans of CSI's opponents. As that's chopped toward the middle and past the diving Balderas into center field for a hit. Run number 11 comes in to score. And it's an RBI single for Kendall Stoffel as the Bobcats go in front 11-0. Carly Iannone will be the batter now. Iannone just 0 for 1. One of the few Bobcats with 1 official plate appearance in this game, though. The on-deck batter also in that category, as that's popped up, and an easy play is made behind the plate. Latour has the putout, and there are 2 away. Molly White will be the batter. White, as I mentioned, just 1 official plate appearance, 0 for 1, and she grounds 1 foul. Runner on first, 2 gone in the road 3rd. And with each run scored and each out up on the board for the Dolphins, that 8-run rule comes more and more into play. CSI's opponent in their next game, Lynn University, on the field directly next to ours right now on field D. They're warming up in the outfield as the Dolphins play on here in the 3rd. But should this game come to an early end, there's a good chance that game 2 could start early. In that case, we would certainly bring you an audio play-by-play call for that game. As long as they don't start late, we should be all right. Dolphins, of course, hoping that perhaps they do start late, because that would mean it's rally time in this game, as Del Salto misses with ball 4. And White draws the walk. Gracie Arnold will come to the plate here. This Arnold's first at bat of the day. We did see a replacement made in between innings. At second base, Gomez came out, and Arnold was announced into the game. She's ahead 1-0 here, and that's popped up. Shallow center, and Carcano has it to retire the side. 1 run in to score for the Bobcats in the 3rd inning. They lead Staten Island 11-0. Home 3rd inning from the Diamondplex in Winter Haven. Dolphins, I should say, the road 4th inning. As that's it out to center. That's caught. I knew something wasn't right when I said 3rd inning. Sabrina Caffel hit the first pitch she offered at well, but lined it straight into the outfield for a quick first out. That will bring Mariah Carcano to the plate. And Carcano slaps one right at the on-deck batter. Balderas gets out of the way. And the count is 0-1 on the Dolphins center fielder. Dolphins without a hit thus far, as that's chopped to short. And the error on that play will go against the shortstop. Second error of the game for the Bobcats. Oh, Shields couldn't handle the hop there. And the Dolphins have a 1-out base runner. Eileen Balderas, the batter. And Balderas hits one well out to right. But that is hit straight at the right fielder. And making the catch there was Dinklocker for the 2nd out. Dolphins have been aggressive at the plate in this game. Most Dolphins have been eager to offer at that fastball from Stoffel. And here in this inning, the Dolphins have put 2 into the outfield, hit them both really well. Neither getting down. Okay. So I was correct. It is the bottom of the 3rd. As that's grounded down the line. Fair ball. That rolls all the way into the corner where there is no outfield fencing to stop it. So the Dolphins suffer as a result of the ground rule double. 1 run comes off the board for CSI there, but they have 2 in scoring position with 2 outs, and they have their first base hit of the game. I guess when I said I knew something was wrong after I mentioned it was the 4th inning, or I should say the 3rd inning originally, I was mistaken. Can't doubt yourself on headset, as that pitch is taken for a strike by Livia Wanzer. That's hit in the air, right field. And the catch is made by Dinklocker for the final out of the inning. Dolphins strand 2 in scoring position after they pick up their first base hit of the game on a ground rule double by Anissa Acosta. Staten Island trails 11-0, this time headed into the fourth. And we are back for the fourth inning. This time for real. Top of the fourth. And a new pitcher is in for the Dolphins as Alexis Miramontes comes on. Her first pitch misses for ball one. Pinch hitter in the game for Wesleyan here as that's chopped on the infield. Balderas waits for it and throws to first in time. Pinch hitter was Emma Jackson. And it looks like the Bobcats are going to begin clearing the bench here. So Jackson bounces out to short, 6-3 on the putout. One away in the inning. And Megan McMacken will be the pinch hitter. Dolphins have 6 outs to play with in this game. Would need to score at least 4 times, and perhaps more, as McMacken lines a base hit into center field. Third pinch hitter of the inning will be Kelsey Brown. Brown, right-handed hitter, will come to the plate here with a runner on first, 1 out. There is still action in the Dolphins' bullpen. I suspect maybe CSI would use one more pitcher in this game if it does indeed end in 5. If they manage to get close enough to send it further, and that completely changes everything, and you might see one of the arms that, at this point, we would expect they are saving for game 2. First pitch, hit to third. I should have said second pitch, as the throw to second is low, as they attempted to cut down the lead runner, and everybody is safe. Moore throwing for Stalker covering, saw that ball get away into center. It did hit Stalker's glove, but things unraveling for the Dolphins here. That's going to be an error on Moore for the high throw. Third error of the game against the Dolphins. 2 teams have combined for 5 errors in this game. Once again, we're going to have a pinch hitter. Emily Ross at the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Pitch from Miramontes on its way. And that's in for a strike. Comes the 0-1. That misses outside. Here comes the 1-1. There's a good off-speed pitch from Miramontes. She gets the swing and miss, and the count is 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes the count on the Bobcats pinch hitter. And Miramontes misses down and away for ball 2. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. And that's hit toward the middle. Baldera steps on second. Throw to first in time. 6-6-3 on the double play. And the side is retired. Miramontes gets another ground ball. This time the Dolphins turn 2. And the Bobcats are turned aside in the road 4th. They still lead it 11-0. Home 4th getting started from the Diamondplex. Dolphins trailing by 11 as Cassidy Latour looks at a strike. Latour 0 for 1 with the strikeout. And she hits one hard. Diving stop it short. Throw to first in time. Great stretch by Dizon at first as well. And a great play at short to make that diving stop. That was O'Shields again, as she partially atones for that error with a great play there. And there's one gone in the home 4th. Victoria Whalen, the batter, and she takes a strike. Comes the 0-1, and that misses away. Those who follow all of CSI athletics and not just CSI softball, in case you missed it, as Whalen swings and misses for strike 2. It was announced earlier today the Dolphins have 3 all-conference honorees in men's and women's basketball. On the men's side, both Messiah Mallory and Bryce Waterman on the all-conference first team as Whalen swings and misses for strike 3. And there are 2 away in the inning. On the women's side, Jenelise Alarcon, a part of the all-conference second team. Mallory and Alarcon both making appearances on the first and second team respectively for the second straight year. And for Waterman, it's his first all-conference selection. Also, some of you may have tuned in last night as women's basketball suffered a heartbreaking loss at UDC in the first round of the East Coast Conference Women's Basketball Championship. Dolphins led by as many as 17 in that game, and that lead got away in the fourth quarter as the Firebirds came storming back from down double digits in the closing minutes. At the plate here, the count is even at 2-2 on Elizabeth Moore. Still playoff basketball to be played on the men's side. They're in the conference semifinals. As that is chopped on the infield. Fair ball. And Moore has an infield single. That will bring up Amanda Stalker. As for the men, their opponent was decided last night. Dolphins will face Damon University on Saturday as Stalker looks at a strike. That game now scheduled officially for 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. So be sure to catch that game on the ECC network as Stalker takes strike 2. And that is sent foul. Count remains 0-2 on Stalker. That's fouled away. Here comes another 2-strike pitch. And Stalker fights off another one foul. Stalker making Stoffel work here as it remains 0-2. And that's down and in for ball 1. And that's it well out to center field. And that will land at the base of the fence. And for the second time, Dolphins lose a run to a ground rule double. Once again, they have second and third with 2 outs. Dolphins put some good swings on the ball these last couple of innings. That one finally earns them a hit. The Acosta hit was a ground ball down the third base line, and the Moore hit was of the infield variety. And now Sabrina Caffel, who hit the ball hard her last time up, will be the batter. And the Dolphins have a chance to get on the board here with a 2-out base hit. There's going to be a conference in the circle for the Bobcats here as they talk this one over. CSI's Game 2 opponent, Lynn University, has made their way into the area behind the outfield wall. I'll be curious to see if the Dolphins switch dugouts. Typically, the teams will not switch dugouts if they're on the same field again. But the Dolphins in the next game would be the road team. They're in the home dugout right now, as they are the home team in this game. But I get the sense they probably won't move, and that the next game will start rather quickly as Caffel takes a strike. The Knights have had plenty of time to get warm, as there is no game on the field to our left. And Caffel takes out of the zone for ball 1. The games yesterday were pushed back into this time slot after being scheduled for 10 a.m. and 12:15 originally, when the afternoon games at 2:15 and 4:30 are going on. It is, at least this week, been the norm that there is a vacant field or perhaps 2. And that is the case once again today as Caffel chases a pitch out of the zone and swings and misses for strike 3. So the Dolphins strand 2 in scoring position once again. They still have not scored and trail 11-0 entering the 5th. And we're back for the 5th inning as the Dolphins send another new pitcher into the circle, as we suspected. Dolphins utilizing one more arm in this game. Trailing by 11 runs as Kelsey Strayer is the new CSI pitcher. And her first 2 pitches in for strikes as she gets ahead 0-2. At the plate is Courtney Pfizer getting her first at bat of the afternoon for the Bobcats, and she looks at ball 1. Count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch on its way, and that misses high and outside. Strayer got into a game earlier in the week and pitched well for a couple of innings, but was ultimately the losing pitcher. That was in game 1 on this trip against Bemidji State. And now, after getting ahead 0-2, Strayer has run the count full. Comes the 3-2. And Pfizer hits one out to left. Caffel initially broke back, but she comes in to make the catch for out number 1. One away here in the 5th. And Sydney Ledbetter will be the batter. Ledbetter to the plate for the first time in this game, and she pops one over the glove of Acosta at first. That was a jam shot there, but Ledbetter will take it, and she's on with a 1-out single. That hit number 14 in the game for the Bobcats, as Wesleyan will send in a pinch runner here. Pinch runner coming on will be number 35, Lindsey Dillon. And the batter for the Bobcats will be Abigail Borello. First plate appearance for Borello, and she swings and misses for strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's popped up over our heads. Thankfully, we're covered. Don't have to worry about a laptop getting hit by a foul ball from our field. The other fields may be a different story. Strayer had 0-2 here on Borello, and that's fouled back. Dolphins, when they come to bat, will be down to their final 3 outs. As I mentioned, they have another game looming, likely without much downtime in between. As that's popped up on the infield, and Acosta makes the catch. There are now 2 away. Sydney McKinney will be the batter. McKinney comes to the plate for the first time in this game. Most of the Bobcat starters have been pinch hit for at this point. On deck is Grace Arnold. If she comes up, she'd be getting her second at bat off the bench. I apologize, I misspoke. Gracie Arnold on deck. As that pitch is hit out to left, shallow, and Caffel can't make the sliding catch. Good effort by Caffel in left field. She had to cover a lot of ground to get there, but could not make the sliding grab. And McKinney is on in her first plate appearance. So Gracie Arnold will bat here for the second time. That last hit makes it 15 for the Bobcats. They now have 2 on with 2 outs. And Arnold fouls it back where a spectator perhaps should have brought his glove from home. Or he can make like me and catch it with his ribs. Sometimes that works too. The more painful route, as that's in for a strike. Strayer ahead 0-2 once again. Arnold was retired her first time up, looking to reach for the first time today. And she hits one out to center, where Carcano is waiting to make the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. It's a scoreless 5th inning in relief for Kelsey Strayer, and the Dolphins come to bat trailing by 11, needing at least 4 to keep this game going. And we are back for the home 5th inning from the Diamondplex in Winter Haven. Game 7 of a 10-game week-long trip for the Dolphins here in Florida. Dolphins 2-4 through the first 6, in danger of falling to 2-5 here as they trail by double digits as they come to bat in the home 5th. New pitcher, Molly White for Wesleyan. Her first pitch in for a strike to Mariah Carcano. Carcano 0 for 1 at the plate. The CSI hits belong to Moore, Stalker, and Acosta, as Carcano is quickly retired. 1 away in the 5th. That will bring up Eileen Balderas. The instruction comes from the Bobcats dugout. No doubles. They must have watched Balderas' game film from yesterday. She was hitting the ball all over the ballpark. Put a charge into a couple. Had a 5-for-5 game earlier in the week. Balderas 0 for 2 in this one. She swings and misses at that pitch. Balderas in a 2-strike hole here. And that's chopped back to the circle. Underhand toss by White in time. 2 away. Dolphins down to their final out. And Nisa Acosta will be the batter. As I mentioned before, Acosta, one of the 3 Dolphin hits. She's 1 for 2 at the plate. Doubled down the line earlier. That pitch misses for ball 1. Here comes the 1-0. That's fouled away. So for those who will be looking for the Game 2 stream, I would say it is a near certainty that that game will be starting early. How early remains to be seen as the umpires have their schedule. That being said, if the scheduled umpires are here, then I would suspect we begin rather quickly following this game. We haven't seen much infield-outfield taken before any of these games. In fact, I'm not sure we've seen it once, as the teams typically have warmed up on another field or in the grass area beyond the outfield wall. So expect our next game to begin quickly as Acosta grounds one to short and is thrown out at first to end the ball game. Dolphins go down by a final score of 11-0. As for the first time on this trip, it was a really disappointing game for CSI. Obviously, there have been some disappointing results, but for the first time this year at the spring games, they are shut out. In fact, it is the first time they are shut out this season. Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken, in every game this year have scored multiple runs until this one. They've scored 2 a couple of times, but have not been held to 1 run or fewer until this game. And they lose by a final score of 11-0. So the Dolphins will regroup quickly, and we will have a quick turnaround, we suspect, ahead of our second game today. Once again, the Dolphins will be on Field C at the Diamondplex. So if you're watching on Flow Sports, you should not have to change which field you have selected for live viewing. As for us here on YouTube at CSI Sportsnet, we are going to end the stream of this game and switch over to our stream feed for Game 8. You can find that over on our YouTube page at CSI Sportsnet. So from all of us here at the College of Staten Island, we thank you for watching. This has been Joe Foreman. Be sure to join me for Game 8 on this 10-game trip as the Dolphins take on Lynn University coming up next.